Hey, Browns fans, Spencer German back with you live from Berea with our latest Browns practice report as part of Browns Digest. Excited to be here with you. Another day of practice in the books for the Browns as they turn the corner towards that matchup with the Bears coming your way Sunday, Week 15. It'll be here before you know it. It's already Thursday, and we start getting ready for the weekend here tomorrow. So, listen, there's been enough bad injury news to share this week. We'll get to all that. Who was on the practice field today, who wasn't. But I want to actually start with some good news today that broke while we were actually in the locker room doing press conferences with some of the players. We spoke with Joel Bitonio, Amari Cooper, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah today. But while that was going on, Joe Flacco was signing a deal to officially join the 53-man roster for the Browns. So no more of this back and forth over should the Browns bring him up off the practice squad and avoid him going somewhere else. It was never going to happen because Joe Flacco would have had to agree to it. He kind of made a joke about that during his little skirmish that formed the not skirmish, the little scrum that formed around him with some reporters asking him some questions about the deal and how excited he was to be on the 53 and all these different things. But yeah, so that conversation's kind of over. Some details of the deal that we do know from the reports that are out there from some of the national pundits: 405 million or 4.05 million, I should say. It's incentives-based contract, so we'll make about 300K for each of the over the final 4 games. And then it's got bonuses of 250K for winning a wild card game, 500K for winning the divisional round, a million for an AFC Championship game win, and if you were to go on and lead the Browns to a Super Bowl win, you get an extra 2 million on top of it. So kind of your standard incentive-based deal late in the season, trying to incentivize a guy to give you a little something extra here down the stretch, which is what Browns fans are obviously open for as well. Again, Flacco asked about the deal. He joked about how he doesn't even know how much he's made being on the practice squad. He doesn't check his bank statements. He doesn't know if the cashes have been checking. So he doesn't even really know the details of the deal himself. He lets his agent handle all that. The other thing that I thought was interesting that did come up in that scrum with him, somebody asked him about coming back for 2024 and if he'd be open to it. And, he basically alluded to, like, I'm just taking a day at a time, which has been his motto really since he got here to Cleveland and since he's kind of settled in, just trying to enjoy the moment and enjoy the opportunity that he has in front of him because he was sitting on the couch a couple weeks ago without these opportunities. So he seems pretty just very much that living by that motto of living in the moment, and it's obviously worked out for him so far. So that's the good news from Berea today. The bad news on the injury front: a number of players not at practice yet again today. Ethan Posick was not practicing. Juan Thornhill, Joel Bitonio, although he's more of that veteran day off. David Njoku, same thing for him. Um, Pierre Strong was not out there, which was more of a surprising one that we didn't really know where he was. And Obo Okoronkwo, we know, obviously wasn't practicing because we're still waiting for word on his status moving forward for the rest of the season. There's a chance, as we know from yesterday, that he could be placed on the IR and done for the year with a torn pec. Also, Jordan Elliott not out there once again today as he's in the concussion protocol. So a number of injuries. Juan Thornhill still dealing with the calf. Ethan Posick still dealing with the stinger. We don't know when any of these guys will be back or ready to play for this weekend or not, but we'll continue to kind of monitor those situations as the week plays out and as we get sort of the final injury report coming your way on Friday. We're also still waiting to find out if Denzel Ward's going to play. He was out there yet again today. He was limited yesterday. Don't know yet if he was limited again today or if he was a full participant. But last week, the vibes around him were that he was going to play just based off of everything that he was saying. And then he obviously didn't end up suiting up for that game against the Jaguars. So still kind of a wait and see approach with him. But obviously it'd be a big boost for the defense if they're able to get him back, given some of the injuries they sustained this week to Grant Delpit, to Maurice Hurst, to Jedrick Wills, who's now not coming back off the roster. They could use a boost in the form of a player coming back from an injury. And Denzel Ward is one of the most important players, obviously, on this defense and on this team. Along those lines, I thought that Jim Schwartz today, who we talked to early this morning, had some very poignant things to say just about the injury situation. Here was his commentary on how the Browns have kind of dealt with this whole thing.
It's something that we work through every single week. Um, Early in the year, we were pretty fortunate to be relatively healthy. Been playing without Denzel for almost a month now. Also, hopefully we can get him back soon, get him back on the field for us. It is what it is. The game doesn't care. Obviously the opponents don't care, but the game is Sunday for 60 minutes, and it doesn't care if you're playing rookies. It doesn't care if you have injuries. It doesn't care if you're at full strength. And that's our focus.
Like I said, I think it's a cliche, of course, the old next man up and um, just trying to keep on moving forward without these guys. But there's an impact of them not being out there. But his commentary just on how the game doesn't wait for anybody, the game doesn't care, the opponent doesn't care, it's very very true and very very accurate. And that's been the Browns' motto this season. They've continued to thrive and win with all the injuries they have sustained. It's been obviously nothing short of remarkable. And that's going to be the case this weekend with a number of guys. So Siaki Ika, Alex Wright, those are some of the guys taking some snaps and getting some reps as they'll be the next kind of men up on the defensive end positions behind Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, with Obo Kawanko potentially out for the rest of the season. They recently signed Sam Kamara, has been getting some reps as well. And then there's just been a kind of a rotation of characters as well. Tommy Togiai, who's on the practice squad, could see an elevation this weekend. So the nice thing for the Browns is that it seems like they've built up, as they did this offseason, a lot of depth at that on the defensive line, which is a key, as we know, and something that they really targeted this offseason. We'll see. It's going to get put to the test, obviously, against the Bears and over the next 4 games to close out the regular season. We'll see how it goes. Also, at the safety positions, you got Ronnie Hickman and DeAnthony Bell taking the majority of the reps, as Juan Thornhill still deals with that injury, and Grant Delpit goes to the IR. And then Duron Harmon, who they promoted off the practice squad, he may be seeing some reps as well as he kind of gets acclimated to potentially a more prominent role on the back end of this defense. So it's that next man up mentality continues. And along those lines, one of the big themes of the day, I think, was just the praise for Kevin Stefanski, the culture that he's built, and his ability to just kind of adjust on the fly to all the injuries and all the different personnel that they've kind of seen. First, we have Alex Van Pelt here, offensive coordinator, who he shines some light on just how great Kevin Stefanski's been this year.
Yeah, obviously it starts with Kevin, and I think is the mindset for him is we're always going to try to put whoever that person is behind center in the best position for them to be successful. It all starts with the quarterback. If we can play to his skill set, whatever that is, um, that's going to help us all. And I think he's done a great job of how we design the plan each week for each guy that's playing, and then how the game's called as well. So really, I think it's a hat off to Kevin.
We also have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who we'll get to here. Alex Van Pelt talking specifically there about the quarterback position, just the number of injuries they've dealt with there, and the different players they've had out there, and how Stefanski's kind of schemed different things up for each one. Well, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah would talk more about just the culture in general, and the fact that, like I said, it's been nothing short of a miracle that they've survived all these injuries, and their ability to do that, as JOK kind of points out here, speaks to just the culture that they've built and the coaching that's in that building, getting that next man up as part of that mentality, ready to go for each and every game.
Well, it's a bit of the culture, I think, that we're building. When you are developing and you have a good leader, you have good leaders, and there's a pride on your back. You know what I mean? When you have a family that has a family creed and a family mission, and gives the players and the people that's inside of that family a bit more pride to go towards something. And when we have established here, looking to build continuously, I think they want to be a part of it, and it's a bit more hunger. Coach Stefanski does a good job with allowing us to know that it's not Sunday that's the emphasis, it's not Saturday that's the emphasis, but it's the day that we are living in right now. It's the hour that we're living in. It's the second that we're living in. And when the young guys step in, they really, embrace that. So for them to focus on the now, focus on their responsibility each and every play, I think is those little things that mean a lot. So.
I think JOK's comments there are pretty telling of just the vibe in that locker room as a whole. It takes some sort of culture to be able to survive the way the Browns have, with all the injuries that as they continue to pile up, and be in a place where they're 8-5 with a chance to make the playoffs, sitting comfortably right now in that 5 seed in the AFC, with a chance to clinch here in the coming weeks a playoff berth. So certainly a testament to his coaching, Kevin Stefanski's that is, and the culture that he's built here. It is definitely a different time and a different day out in Berea for the Cleveland Browns organization when you have a team dealing with this much adversity, and they're able to kind of continue to overcome it, find ways to win, and put themselves in position to give you, the fans, playoff football here potentially in the next month or so. So that'll do it for us from Berea today. We'll get updates on Friday of even more on the injured players, your Juan Thornhill, your Obo Kawankwo potentially, obviously Jordan Elliott, Pierre Strong, and Ethan Posick, and we'll see what the status of Denzel Ward looks like for the weekend as well. But the game with the Bears just a couple days away now. Be sure to follow along with all things Cleveland Browns right here on the Browns Digest YouTube page, And as always, over at BrownsDigest.com.